thank you both for coming in this morning. I knew that you were coming in, and then when I was like, either she's got a chauffeur and she's got this sick whip, or that's my main man. So thank you both for taking the time this morning. It's super cold in Wilmington right now. It's like icy road, and I know you guys run a very, very busy schedule because both of you are doing something else full time. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have other jobs that actually pay us.
I tell people the same thing. I went to like a networking event, and they said, tell us who you are, what you do. And I said, hey, my name's Matthew Murray. I run Murray Marketing, and I help businesses scale, grow, and market free. And they went, well, how do you make money? And I go, I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. So we're gonna get it done one way or the other. And it's just the reason. And by the way, I didn't get to introduce you guys. So for the camera, if you want to look in, tell everybody your name and the name of your company. I don't want to spoil the fun, but you guys are just my favorite people.
Well, thanks, Matt. I'm Melissa Becker, and president of Coastal Hemp Company. We try to have a women-owned business. That's the reason why I'm president. Otherwise, we'd both be presidents.
There you go.
Right. Dale Becker, significant other of Melissa, and I kind of more the behind the scenes at the Coastal Hemp Company. She kind of runs the day-to-day operations.
Well, it's a woman-owned business, man.
Yes. It's supposed to be that way. That's
you're the one that's moving all the stuff. Like you said, behind the scenes, you're moving all the stuff. And it's when I first started talking about the podcast a couple months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, the first thing I wanted to do was just go on social media and go, does anybody know good business owners? What I mean by good business owners is just good people, because there's a business. Who owns Walmart? I mean, I don't, whatever, right?
I've never seen them.
But I wanted to promote local business owners. And I went on social media and I said, hey, does anybody know good local business owners that should be highlighted, that should be talked about? And Sean, who works with you guys, tagged you, and I think one other person tagged you. And so the first thing that I did, as I said, well, I'm not going to go and, just highlight anybody that wants to be highlighted, because some people want to self-promote, some people want to, just get sales, whatever it is. It's like, that's not what my mission is. My mission is to help people that are good people, that are doing things for the right reasons. And so I went and into your shop, and I just walked in on that day. And I got to talking, and I was talking with Melissa for about 35 minutes. And I just started asking questions. And I said, hey, just so you know, you got tagged about 2 or 3 times on social media. And she went, oh my goodness, Sean told me that someone might be coming in. I can't believe that you actually are here. And I was just so blown away by your level of knowledge. And it was so much different than any experience that I had, because there's a stigma, there's a myth that comes along with weed or hemp or whatever it is. And the reason that you guys open up your business is to relieve those things and to showcase what is out there, what's good and what's bad. And so I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about, why you decided to open up your business. What was the driving factor of what that was? And I know you have a really cool story. If you want to share it, you don't have to. It's entirely up to you. But it's we got to talk about it when I got to really talk to you for the first time, and I'm like, that's really cool. And then I know I know about you, but like you guys are running the business and funding it with your other jobs, and you said something to me. You said I own the business to create jobs around the area. And I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever heard. You want to help people and provide food for families. And that was part of my mission too. The very first thing I did was hire 2 people because I wanted to help other people live in the community. So I can't stop talking about you. I could talk the whole time and not let you guys talk, but please just tell me.
Keep sitting over here smiling.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. I get so excited when I talk to you guys, man. You guys are awesome.
Well, thank you, Matt. We probably around 2011, I know we've always been interested, or I should say, really, my husband Dale's always been interested in marijuana. CBD, it took a little bit before it started to get into the industry where the world really started taking attention. That was probably around 2011 when I first saw videos about CBD getting started back in Denver when they were creating Charlotte's Web. And looked at some of those videos and some of the infants that had some rare epilepsy indications. And it was really sad to see that they were having a hard time controlling epilepsy for these children so they could have a normal life. And started, these brothers actually started creating or helping these families to see if CBD could actually help them, their children, with the epilepsy. And of course it did. It was wonderful. So when I saw that, it made me want to look at that more. So kind of my background, if I give you a little bit of that, it might help a little bit to understand why I was more interested in it. Grew up as a nurse and then became a nurse practitioner. And from there, did that for about 17 years and then moved into new drug research. And that's where I really started learning more about how drugs are developed, how they're approved, how they go to market, and all the things we do when we're running studies. And that is really my real job that I have these days. But looking back, being more of a scientist and having that type of head-on, seeing what CBD could do was very fascinating to me. And I knew that, my husband really, really enjoyed weed. I could not partake, of course. I was a nurse. But I was interested enough to look more into the studies and do more research. And through that is when I really started reading more of CBD, more as a chemical and what it literally did in the body. And that's how it started the interest of, gosh, that would be really great to have a natural organic business and be a nurse practitioner and help patients, with that type of stuff. And then it moved into, starting our own business. And once we got into the idea of having a business, it took off from there. But it took several years before we were in the right place. And it wasn't until 2019 when we actually got it going.
But you guys had a vision a long time ago of what you wanted to do.
We did. And I think a friend of ours that was part of Curative, which is one of our main brands we started with before the company even, kind of talking to him, Ryan Morris, and he was like, hey, we've got this new product. And I had, a little background with cannabis. I had a background with a lot of opiates and hydrocodone in particular.
Yep.
That I had been prescribed for bad back, had surgery. I went through the gamut with that.
Yep.
But through all that, getting the CBD, and he's like, I bet we can get you off hydrocodone. And I don't know if I believed it or not, but I'm a total believer now. I kicked that habit. I don't want nothing to do with those pharmaceutical opiates ever again.
Yeah.
I don't have to go in the black market for cannabis anymore. We sell everything right at our store that's legal. So it makes it very convenient for myself and anybody else in the area. And we love talking about it. And yes, that's scary to talk about, something that happened in my past like that. But at the same time, you've got to open yourself up to help other people.
I've learned this more and more, being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Even more as a business owner as to why you're doing something. And it's something that I struggled with too for a very long time. And I was talking with my father and I was talking with the team over here and I said, guys, I don't know how to say this. I think I'm being pulled by God to do something, and I believe heavily in that. And I said, I'm being pulled to speak because I've been given gifts, and the gifts of storytelling and the gifts of pulling stories out of people and the gift of podcast and the gift of Gab and the gift of marketing. And so what a great bit. In October 19th is when I woke up and I said, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do in life. But I struggle with it because, I have to be vulnerable. I have to tell stories and I have to tell the bad stuff, and I wanted to talk about that just for a second because just yesterday, I don't know if I told you guys this, just yesterday around 4:15, we finally got our YouTube channel back.
Ooh.
Wow.
We shot the first podcast, got it up. We're gaining subscribers. We had a ton of views. We had likes. We had comments. It was just going really great. And then right before we shot the second podcast at 2:00 that morning, they shut it down. And I went, how in the world are we supposed to, do this thing? And then Cody over there just said, you ain't got to worry about that. He said, we'll get through that. And I went, what a great support system to have. But you know what I mean? But as a business owner, it's so hard to keep going when you get these roadblocks, right? And when you start, and business owners don't talk about the roadblocks when you start.
Oh yeah.
And for 2 months, we're shooting podcast. We're talking about doing a podcast. And they said, where's your podcast at? Where is it going to go live? And I'm talking to the guests, and I'm like, it's going to be on YouTube. Like, well, can I look it up? And I'm like, well, that's the thing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't know how to explain that. And it was like weighing me down and stressing me out. But Heather and Cody and us just believed the entire time. They believed more than I did it was going to be okay at sometimes. And you have to have a good support system, whether it be a husband or wife combo, a good, good teammates, whatever it is. And it's just like, sharing those things with your significant other, with your team, and going through those roadblocks and opening yourself and being vulnerable actually helps your business more than people realize. And so I know it's scary to talk about some things, but like, I know you guys have gone through struggles because, the CBD stores, they were just popping up out of nowhere. And you guys are like a rock in the community, and so many have popped up and so many of them are gone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You talk about roadblocks. We didn't have roadblocks. We had landslides.
There you go.
I mean, we did. It's been a rough 5 years, but we made it 5 years. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still tough. It's not as tough as back in 2019, but put it this way, it took us 5 years to actually get a local bank.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, you guys are telling me that, you just got access to a local bank, because it's just weird, even though that what you guys are selling is legal in the state. It's just, does the bank recognize, are they okay with it? And it makes it so much tougher on you guys to do transactions because you're probably the most scrutinized businesses there is right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And you guys are doing everything by the book, and you still are hitting every landslide or roadblock imaginable. I mean,
we still this year just looking for a bigger space because we're growing.
Yeah.
We've got 4 landlords out of 4 places we looked at turned us down. Because they didn't want pot smoking hippies in their space. And the funny thing is they have no idea about the people that run the businesses. They don't even know they don't even want to see the pictures of your business, where what it looks like. You would think they would want to look at that stuff or do some research, additional research, but it's really tough, just to get additional rental space.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still have those struggles as well.
Yeah,
this is 2024.
It's crazy, if I was an owner of a place that was renting out, I'd look at you guys and be like, okay, they want to grow and they've been in their current place for X amount of years. That means that they have been paying their rent for X amount of years and there's no problems. Let's absolutely do it. I mean, it's just
nope.
Yeah, and they know we're looking for a bigger space, so it's not like we're not showing growth.
Right.
Wanting bigger space.
Yeah. And it's, and you guys are doing something cool, and it's so hard to grow and make money, or it's impossible to make money and grow at the same time. You know what I mean? I keep telling business owners this, and they go, yeah, you're right. And the business owners know this, but it's something you don't want to hear. And it's like, I would rather pull profits and reinvest back in the business to grow significantly, because then I can hire more people. I can get more jobs out in the area. I can help more businesses. Like, I have a whole plan, like a 5-year plan. And I'm like, I'm going to hire this many people. I want to hire like 100 people and like teach business owners like how to do things, like how to market themselves. And I got you a gift, by the way, both of you guys. It's called Guerrilla Marketing.
Oh, hello.
I'm big on books and just giving gifts. It's one I've read a couple times, so it's probably got some thumbware
yeah, that's okay.
through there.
It's
but,
awesome.
It's really about how to stand out, and you guys already stand out because of the name of the business. But like, and you guys are kind of doing it already. and I wanted to highlight what that is too. But I used it when we went to go to Port City Young Professionals, if you've ever heard of that networking group. It's been there for 15 years, and it was our first time. So we had these little first-time badges. I took 6 of them and put them all over my jacket. And everybody walked up to me and goes, "Is it your first time?" And I said, "How'd you know?" But I stood out because of a little bit of a different marketing tactic. Everybody had the one. It's like, "Oh, it must be your first time." I just peppered myself. And so and I learned it from that book because it was like, how do you stand out in direct mail? And I was doing insurance, or I still am doing insurance. And instead of doing, 1 stamp, do 15 stamps. It might cost you a little bit more, but if you want that piece of mail to be open, it's like, who in the world's sending me this with this one letter in there? So I was like, I peppered myself, and many people come up to me and are like, "Must be your first time." Well, it created conversations. What do? I help business scale, market grow for free. Okay. How do we get in contact with you? Reach out to Heather, reach out to Cody. Let's see how I can help you. And it's just been so much fun to do stuff like that. But you guys are doing something different too. And I want to highlight what that is, because it's super awesome.
Appreciate that.
We sure do. It's
kind of cool that you kind of gave us a book that's kind of used, because it kind of works with our whole mojo anyway for our store. So
yeah,
kind of natural and organic, reused, recycled.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I used to go to like Books A Million and all that stuff, but like I would rather go to the local bookstore, and I'm like, you can get some. I got like it's called the owner of Wendy's, Dave, right?
Yeah.
It's signed by Dave. It's written and signed by Dave, the owner of Wendy's, and I'm like, it cost me $5. That's crazy. And it's an older book, so it's not going to be found in the Books A Million, because they're only promoting what's new and, what the highest price is. I would rather go buy older books and like see the notes that people have taken, or like get, you can get signed copies. It's ridiculous. I'm like,
great.
So yeah, that one's, there might be $5 in there somewhere. Who knows? See if we get it.
We would cherish it, and we need as much help as we can get. So I think every business doesn't matter how many years they've been open, things are constantly changing, as we are constantly changing and evolving. You have to stay alive.
Yeah.
We also brought something special for you all too.
Really?
So just kind of going into the, different things that we have. One of the newest things that's coming up in the market are what they call THC spirits.
Okay.
And non-alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic, so
Okay.
it's nice for the dry spell when we're having dry January.
Yep.
Also, THC sodas.
Okay.
These ones are really popular out west, and that's where we actually found them, and then had to hunt really hard to find a distributor that was a hemp-derived version. And these taste exactly like the grape sodas and the orange sodas and the root beer. They're delicious. Neat thing about it, give you guys a little bit of knowledge here, information on these THC shots. The levity, they're great. The agave, it's an imitation tequila.
Okay.
Great. There are 2 milligram shots. People think, oh, that's not that much. No, it really actually is. It's made what we call with nanotechnology, where it's water soluble.
Okay.
So it kicks in very quickly. Kicks in within 15 minutes.
You digest it quicker, so it's a lot quicker. Okay.
Correct. And you have more bioavailability, which means you have 90% or more of the THC that's actually available to your system. So in this 2 milligrams, you're getting about 1.9 milligrams of THC that you will actually notice. If this was not water soluble and you did a 2 milligram, you'd be lucky to get 0.2 milligrams of the THC.
So
there's a huge difference.
This is the knowledge that I was talking about. Like when I talk to Melissa about this stuff, it's just like, what? You know what I mean? But it's good knowledge, and I was in even your staff, they're so knowledgeable about what's going on. It was like in you were telling me some stuff like, if it's raining outside, it can make you feel different, and if like it's like different types, and like you were telling me like if someone's
endocannabinoid system is probably what we were talking about.
Yeah. Those are all words that I had no idea even existed, and then it's just coming off the tongue, and it's like you went to school for this stuff.
Oh yeah, actually, I went to NC State. I mean, I have a master's in nursing, but when it came to hemp programs, there was none. In 2019, North Carolina State put out the first hemp business law course, and that's when I went. And it was perfect timing because we were just getting ready to open in June.
Yeah.
So I took this class, and it was wonderful. It was like the best class. It was hard, don't get me wrong. I was with a bunch of farmers. We had other people that wanted to use hemp as a textile, meaning for clothing, for clothing design. So it was really a mixed bag of people that were there in the course. Very intense, but we had to learn about, number one, we had to choose what type of hemp did we want to grow, because we had to pretend we had our own farm.
Yeah.
And we had to figure out how much we would pay our employees, what type of hemp are we going to do CBD? Are we going to grow hemp for cattle? Are we going to grow hemp for clothing? What type of industry we wanted to get into? Then we had to figure out how many acres we had. We had to go and learn how to do clones. We had to do it all, from learning how your labs for the Department of Agriculture, their requirements basically for having hemp.
Yeah.
And testing your hemp to see what your THC levels were at to make sure it was legal. A lot of different things. So just that in itself was very overwhelming. A lot of training in a very short amount of period. But I met so many different people. We met our attorney, Rod Kite. He's awesome. We met other contacts and other farmers and retailers. So we made a lot of good connections, but it was a great course, and it was very thorough. And that's where I really got my initial training on marijuana and cannabis.
Yeah.
And it was just really a fountain of information that I continue to grow. So we incorporate that into our store.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
you guys are the knowledge that you guys have. And again, you guys source, when you guys find new stuff, like I remember looking underneath, and you have these like thick boy binders. It's like, and if they don't meet like every check mark for you guys, like it's out of the store.
They don't even get in the store.
They don't even, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, and I know that there's a ton of places, and you can go down the street, and it's like you can buy whatever for super cheap, and they're wondering why it doesn't work. Or
one works, the second one doesn't.
Correct. Yeah, it's just
very inconsistent.
Or they get really bad side effects. They get headaches. They don't quite feel right.
Yeah.
So, that's one of our big mottos for our store as well. We really are proud of the quality of our products. Though they are not an FDA-approved product, we try to do what we can to ensure that they are as clean as they can be. And the only way you can do that really is by looking at what we call the Certificate of Analysis. And a lot of people call this a COA. It's just a lab report, and you can get various lab reports. But what we look at in the world of hemp, in states that are not legal, you have to make sure that the product you have is legal, meaning it has to be 0.3% or less of Delta-9 THC.
okay.
So that's the only requirement we have, at least in North Carolina. Many states, that's all the requirement they have. There are about 3 or 4 states now where they require full panel labs, meaning not only do they need to know the THC content to confirm it's legal, they also have to know if there's any heavy metals, any mycotoxins, microbials, residual solvents. Those are really large words, but basically what we do is when we look at those labs, it tells me if there's anything that is a neurotoxic or something that's not good for your brain.
Right.
You definitely don't want to have a lot of mercury, arsenic. Those are heavy metals.
Yeah.
So residual solvents are different products that they use to extract your different cannabinoids. They can use things like hectane, propane, which we all know. We know what propane is.
Right.
Think of you extracting with propane, then you're going to go ahead and ingest this, or you're going to inhale this. Those are highly toxic to your brain. So those are things we look at. We don't want to see those in our products. That's the reason why some people get headaches when they're doing products, when they're using THC products. And that's why we really want to be cautious. We have, a lot of customers now that, some are have cancer. They're on chemotherapy. They definitely don't want to take something that has heavy metals or other neurotoxins in it. They're already struggling with what they have going on. So we really try to do the best we can, for our customer base, just to let them know that we've at least looked at, what these products have, to to ensure, like I said, that they're as clean as they can be since they're not, approved.
Yeah, and I don't even use THC or weed or whatever. And when I'm talking to her, I'm just like, you know what I mean? It's like, what is going on? But it's, and this is my, if I could give you a marketing tip, because I know it's hard to market, because Facebook's probably weird about it, but like, it's probably hard to market on Facebook for the name of your company because of the name of the company, right?
Yeah.
But what Facebook does want is authentic people. You are a person. So you can go to Facebook right now and you can get what's called Meta Verified. You have that blue check mark. Yep. It costs you $20, $25 a month for Instagram and Facebook. And you could sit in front of a camera and just talk about everything that you just said and showcase the products and talk about the products and why you source them. And you'll have people reaching out to you and asking questions. And then when they're asking questions, and then Cody's teaching me this stuff, like you get like a little mic like this, and all you're doing is just responding to the questions, and you're giving out that knowledge. And so you're providing the knowledge to the people, which is what you want to do anyways. Yep. But then people go, well, how do I buy from you? Because the people want to buy from you because they're getting information from you. They want to support you. And then you guys got to figure out, can you ship? How do you do all that stuff? And then you probably already, I don't know if y'all have that or not, but like you, with your knowledge, should go get Meta Verified like today. Like for sure. Because then you can boost the ads of you talking about what you know. Does that make sense?
Yep. It does.
You should totally do that. And it's like a super cheap way to get your name out there. And like TikTok, I don't know if you guys are on TikTok or not, but like just both of you guys speaking about your knowledge and, why, and sourcing different products. Like, hey, I want to show you this one. And what you just said about the content of the, all that stuff is like mind blowing to me. And if I was able to, I can't because of my job, but if I was able to, I would go and try that stuff. You know what I mean? Like this stuff is super, and it's a better way. You guys are open to talking about it more than anybody I've ever been able to see. Obviously you guys are, but like you guys are doing it in a way. We walked into your shop and like, and I'll use, good morning, Heather. Heather, as an example, is like, when we first walked in, it was kind of like, and I was like, who you should talk to? Him. And then 45 minutes later, she was like, I think I want to try this. You know what I mean? And it's just like super cool. And then like, and I was telling her like what my wife does is we let her take one, and then I hide Uncrustables, and she's like, and then she finds the Uncrustables, like, she's like, that sounds great. You know what I mean? Like, what a fun way to enjoy a night. And, I hear it like, there's all different kinds of, and it's different for everybody. Like some people use it for sleep. Some people use it to de-stress. Like some people do it to have fun. And it's like, you guys, someone can walk into your shop and just say what they want. And then you guys can be like, here it is. This is what you need. Yep. You know what I mean? And it's a difference. You guys are like, lack of better words, like weed Sherpas. You know what I mean? It's like you're taking them up this thing that they've never climbed before. It's like, okay, I'm going to take you through, and we know exactly what to do, and it's okay to talk about it. We understand that you might not be comfortable when you first walk in here, but by the time that you leave, if you talk to us for more than 20 seconds, yep, you're going to feel way better about it. And going back to the guerrilla marketing, you guys have this like whole pinball operation inside of your store, which I think is a super cool idea to get people inside. And then when they get inside, it's like the coolest place ever. Yeah. It
was something that we, I was passionate about pinball, since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And once we moved down to Wilmington about 10 years ago, we finally went out and got our first pinball machine, which ended up 2 at the same time. But we went to look at one for me. She's like, well, I want that one too. And so kind of got us both at the same time. And we've had them at our house for, like I said, 10 years, but we're getting to the end of our 5-year. We're like, what can we do to just kind of change our store a little bit? We're at our 5 years. We're looking to move, but we're having trouble with that scenario. So we're like, maybe if we're going to stay in the same space, maybe we need to just do a little remodeling without, spending a ton of money to do it.
Spice it up.
Yeah.
Spice up the space, spice up what we're doing, and get people to hang out. And that's kind of what we were trying to get to just have people come hang out at the store. We can talk to you more if you're hanging out.
Right.
So.
And it's a healthy, cheap date.
And it's healthy, cheap date. So we brought one in, and then the next week or maybe 2 weeks later, we brought another one in. And before we knew it, we were at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And we took a dressing room out, then pretty much remodeled the whole back of the store, even the back area for use of the restroom aspect. We wanted that to be cleaned up too. So we cleaned up all our storage. I built another wall to kind of separate her office from it all. So we've done a lot to try to make the space comfortable for people to come in, hang out, don't feel bad about going in the back room to use the restroom.
Yeah.
So we made that all nice and for everybody. And now we have 9 pinball machines. We're holding monthly tournaments. We're getting a new Jaws machine here in about a week. So that's brand new on the line. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we got our beer license.
So
now we sell THC spirits and drinks as well as beer.
How tough was it to get that license? Is that a process?
It is definitely a process.
Okay.
I tried to do it by myself. A lot of trips down to here, trips to here.
Yep.
I need this filled out. I need somebody to sign this from your department. All right, we'll get that back to you. Days and days, and I'll call back next week. And then as I got to the end of it, we had some other friends that own a cast iron kitchen, Josh and Drea.
Yeah.
And they were just talking to us about, hey, when we got our beer license, we had this guy help us. So we called him up. He stopped in, went over all my paperwork. He says, well, you're missing this. I need this. I need this. I'm like, so happy I didn't drive to Raleigh to turn that paperwork in.
Right.
I didn't have everything.
Yeah.
Even though I thought I did. Even going by their checklist, I had everything. So there's definitely a lot involved. And all we did was beer and bottles and cans.
Yeah.
And that was enough to jump through.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, that's as a new business owner myself, it's, even getting started in business is you got to get a Duns and Bradstreet number. You got to go to a business LLC. You got to get an EIN. And when you get your EIN, there's they give it to you one time and it's impossible to find again. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times they're like, what's your EIN? And I'm like, why would I know that off the top of my head? I actually had to drive to my bank and I'm like, what's my EIN? They're like, why do you need to know that? And I'm like, because it's my business. Please give me my EIN. I don't know where else to go to get this thing, and getting all that organized, like getting your LLC, getting a business bank account, which is, again, hurdles that landslides you guys had to go through, like getting your logo, getting your website, getting social media up. It all has to connect.
Yeah.
And then it's just so tough for business owners to get started. And I think that's why a lot of people don't start their business, because they think about all the things that will go wrong.
And they will.
And that's, I'm trying to break that stigma that I want people to do stuff for themselves, because corporate America is tough. Working for a business and being very religious and tell you can or cannot do certain things is really tough. And people have dreams of doing something for themselves, but it's it's almost daunting to get started on your own thing. And so I'm building out a system to teach people that whatever your idea is, you can do it. And it's really not that hard to get started. There's steps you have to take.
For sure.
And there's paperwork you have to do, but it's also okay to ask for help. So many people as business owners want to feel like they can do it all alone, but it's so tough. And the business owner community is such a brotherhood or a sisterhood or I don't know what it is. You guys have named off a couple people that have helped you, and that's the point of it. It's I want to help you guys want to help me. It's when you find other good business owners, you want to support each other. And it's just it's crazy. And Wilmington's the number 2 place in the world to open up a small business. Did y'all know that?
Did not.
No, but we're not surprised.
Yeah, it's Wilmington's this peninsula, this little inlet, and there's how many Cody, how many restaurants are there? 1,100 restaurants in Wilmington. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Yeah,
You think about it. And so when I started my business, I was like, well, if I want to help small businesses grow, I just landed the mother load of businesses that I can help. You know what I mean? And it's just so much fun to just talk to people all day long and learn about, their struggles and what they're going through and the ups and the downs. And I get to highlight them. And it's I want to teach people how to tell their story. I want to teach people how to become more vulnerable. I want to teach people how to get people in their front door, because I know if people go to where you guys are at and they walk through that front door, it's game over. That's it. I know that they're going to want to do business with you guys because it's so cool in there. And it's not, people think, and I'll just sell this for you guys. People think it's just going to be like, a puff cloud comes out every time you open the door. Yeah. And like, it's none of that.
It's none of that.
It's none of that. It's like you guys have this cooler full of like, I saw it last time, like of this stuff and like these pinball machines. And I'm like, what is going on in here? And then you've got all these, the gummies, and you got the, what are they called? The pins,
the vapes,
the vapes and all that stuff, and then there's like lotions and all this stuff, and clothes,
bags,
exactly.
and purses, and
it's I kind of like
yoga wear.
I try to tell people about you guys. I'm just like, it's like the boutique store for weed. Yeah. You know what I mean? You might pay a little bit more, but the quality of what you're getting. And Wilmington is about quality. And so, even the young people need to realize that they need to go see people like you who are getting the highest quality ingredients, the highest quality of stuff. And just I just want to tell everybody about, I'm actually your guys' like biggest fan in a lot of ways. I keep telling people about you and like keep pushing people your way because, one, you guys are just awesome to talk to, and it's just, you guys are so easy to just fun. But two, you're breaking that stigma. And it's like, young people, like we talked about before, is like young people talk about weed all the time, but Gen Xers, that 30 to 55 range and over, the baby boomer generation, it's like they might talk about it in their little circle, but they're not really open about it. But if you do talk to some people, they're like, oh yeah, I take this stuff all the time. I don't really tell anybody about it. Yeah. It's like, why aren't we okay talking about like, hey, I'm stressed and I take this and it's really helped me. You should try some too. Yep. You know what I mean? If you go see a good movie, what do you want to do? You want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we get that too. Like, people come in there, their friend brings their friend in, and as soon as they come in, they're like, I've been approved. I would never come in your store, but my friend wanted me to come here. And then now they're a regular customer.
Yeah.
And they're like, I am so glad my friend got me to come through the door.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part.
I think that is the hardest part. I think, having the name, it was a lot put into the name and how we wanted to present hemp to the community. Coastal Hemp Company tells you exactly what we are. And we really didn't want to hide it with some name that didn't let people know when you walk through the door, this is the type of store you're walking into. But at the same time, it's fighting the stigma as well of, we're not an ordinary hemp store. We wanted it to be a store that when you come in, you can feel comfortable. Anybody can feel comfortable as far as, because we have clothes, we have purses, we've got underwear, we've got bras, we've got yoga wear. A lot of those things are hemp derived as well. And that's what we wanted to teach the community about. It's not just about CBD and THC, but the other aspect of hemp, because hemp is a wonderful plant. It can do a lot of different things. But having that type of atmosphere with the candles and those things in there, to me, I always felt like as a person, as a female, I always felt uncomfortable walking into a vape or a smoke shop. I'm not going to go in there by myself. Most women and most of us are not. And it's not as welcoming, in those spaces. So we wanted some place that was going to be very comfortable. So where anybody that came in, nobody's going to know what you're coming in for. Are you coming in for the clothes or the CBD, or are you coming to play pinball?
Right.
So it makes it easier, I think, for people to walk into a place that's has various different things in it that is more calming and relaxing to go into than thinking about going into an actual vapor smoke shop. And hopefully that will help them to break the stigma, which is what we're really trying to do, is break the stigma of, weed as the devil's weed, or really, again, teach people about this wonderful plant.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and I'll be transparent. It's like, I'm also the same person because of my job. I'm like, if I walk in there and I get like, something's going to happen to me. Like someone's going to be taking a pic. Like someone randomly is going to take a picture and then send it all the way up, and they're going to be like, he's smoking weed, like, get him. It's no one cares, is what I found. Yeah. Nobody cares. No one's watching you. Doesn't matter. Just walk in there. And then when you do get in there, again, you guys are just like the nicest people in the world. And you'll stop what you're doing. You'll be, I mean, I know you, every time I'm in there, you're on the phone, you're constantly moving stuff around. But when we were talking to you, you just sat there and just talked for 45 minutes, and we're just like, yeah, whatever time you need, like, I'm here to help.
Anytime somebody comes in, I mean, they're going to take our attention, and we're there as long as you want to stay there, or as long as we can anyway.
Yeah, it's you guys are doing it different, and that's what I mean. I buy stuff for my wife, you know, and you guys where I live now is 30 minutes away. Yeah. But my wife says, I need more. And I'm like, you know, it's 30 minutes away. And she goes, well, just go buy 10 bags. So I'll go in there and I'll buy 10 bags at a time. Not because I don't want to see you guys now. It's just 30 minutes away, but I'm actually moving to Murrayville. So I'll actually be closer to you guys. So,
wonderful.
So actually, I'll be, February 1st is when we're closing on the house. And then,
super cool.
We won't move until April, because we got some work to do in the house, some non-negotiables, but I'm excited. It's my first house, so I'm very
cool,
very excited. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And then we're also going to be, and I talked to Cody and Heather about this too. Is like, I'm going to create a podcast studio in my house, because I'm going from like 1,200 square feet to 2,600 square feet. Ooh. So in the upstairs somewhere, in one of those rooms upstairs, I'm going to create something like this, because I have all the podcast equipment. I just didn't have a place to put it. Right. And I was struggling, like, do I want to pay somebody else for their space? And I was like, you know what? Talk to my wife about it, you know, and you have to have a supportive spouse or, you know, significant other. And she said, well, why don't you just put one in the house? And I went, are you serious? So we're going to have our own space, but I'm also, and I think I told Heather and Cody this, but we're going to make it a space where business owners can come for free and shoot content. Awesome. So like you can just come in, I'm not just walk into my house, but like schedule a time.
I was like, getting around keys.
Yeah.
Going on here.
You know, my Palma poo is really gonna get you, but no, it's like you can schedule a time. Like if you want to shoot some content or shoot an ad, or you want to shoot this, like we're gonna have we have cameras, we're gonna have the mics, we're gonna have all that stuff for like high quality production. And I want to create a space for business owners to come do stuff for free. And what a cool thing to do.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's
so cool of you.
Yeah, I mean?
Yeah.
But I also know that if you provide enough value for a place, for somebody, eventually either they're going to want to support you in some way, they're going to want to send somebody your way, and it's already working. You know, we get it all the time. Like, you guys are so nice. Like, blah blah blah. Like, we how do we support you? And I'm like, well, you can do this or this. Or it's like, well, I can't afford that. No issues at all. Do you know anybody else that could use my help? Actually, we do. And so we get in these constant people that are reaching out to us that want to be on the podcast, want our CRM, want to do these things, or want to pay for consulting. And it's just like the funnest business I've ever done. And it's just like so much fun. I'm like, you know what? We're going to do something even crazier. I'm just going to build a place where people can go and not have to pay for any services. Because as a business owner, you get started, it's like, it's hard to invest.
It's very hard.
It's very hard to let go of the money that you're using, especially when you're funding it with your own, I'm doing the same thing. I'm funding my business from my full-time job. Yep. And I'm like, is this going to work? But I'm just having fun with it.
Yep.
I'm just having
you're
fun.
You're doing what you want to do. I mean, that's it.
That's what it should be about.
That's it. You know what I mean? And it's like other business owners and other people, when they see that authenticity, people want to do business with people they like. And so the point of the podcast is to teach business owners to be a little bit more vulnerable and to learn how to get on camera and talk. Because I'm telling you, Melissa, like when you're speaking about what you know, it's like the highest level of knowledge of weed that I've ever heard in my entire life. Because all I've ever heard is, smoke weed, get high. Yeah. You know what I mean? That was what I was taught. I grew up in a Southern Baptist, Bible Belt, smoke weed, get high. All of a sudden you're doing hardcore drugs. That's
Catholic.
Right.
So I know exactly what you
that's the levels. It's like you're doing this and all of a sudden I'm a crackhead. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not Not at all.
And now there's all the testing. Like with all the testing that we have, the products are so much better than when we were kids, and you're just getting it on the black market, and you don't know what you're getting, where it's from, what it's been through, what's on it, what's in it. I mean, it's such a better space for cannabis, and I think
this day and age
for sure
is a lot. Yeah, it's
just
lot more.
It's just changed so much. I know it's changed so much over the last 5 years. I know it has. And I appreciate you guys for being the pioneers in the space in Wilmington and in being that rock. I think one of your taglines should be like the last standing hemp shop in Wilmington, or the oldest standing. You know what I mean? Like people need to know who you are, and like I want to help you guys learn how to market that more, like learn how to shoot that stuff. So I'm committed to continue to promoting you guys, but I'm gonna push you guys to do other things. I think you should go to Port City Young Professionals. I think you should go to I went to a 1 Million Cups and I spoke, and my phone rings all the time from people that want to do business with me. And if you went up there, and I know you speak all the time, if you have no problem speaking, if you went up there and spoke, like it's gonna break that mold. You're already breaking it. I'm just going to try to push you to do a little bit more, because I know that you guys are like, it's so close to just all of a sudden you're going to have like, I want you to have a bigger space. I want you guys to be able to hire more people. I want you to,
love it too.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to Cody, like I want to open up a commercial real estate. I was talking to you about it. I was like, I want to open up commercial real estate, and like, you guys will be my first. He was like, dude, I'll sign like now. You got a space for me, whenever it's built, we're ready. I want to do all those things. I want to help.
They're right with you too.
Yeah. It's like I want to do all this stuff, and it just takes time. And you guys have that time under your belt, and I just want to continue to promote you guys from the rooftops, because you're doing something different, and you're doing it for the right reasons. Not one time ever did I talk to you guys and you're like, we're just selling this to get massive amounts of money. You know what I mean?
No, that's not.
Sure wish.
Yeah, exactly.
If it happens, it's great, but that wasn't the point. It really, truly was to try to make it as affordable as we could to the community, and truly, really get people more knowledgeable about hemp and cannabis and break that stigma. That's the biggest thing right there. And we're doing a little bit, not as much as we'd like to, but we have some tough veterans that come in, and they use those exact words. When I was, in Vietnam, it was the devil's weed. I never want to use this stuff. And after we talked to them for 3 hours, and we have had 3-hour sessions with customers, whatever it takes for you, we're going to help give you the knowledge. But after having those type of talks and being really open and, like you said, vulnerable, we break a lot of those people that they're like, wow, I had no idea. I think one of the neatest things that people don't know is that we all have this, what we call an endocannabinoid system in our bodies. It's one of the biggest systems in our body. It regulates all of our major organs, our central nervous system, our musculoskeletal, where we have our bones, our blood, everything. But the neatest point is it has what we call cannabinoid receptors. Cannabinoid receptors accept cannabinoids. And what is hemp and cannabis? They are cannabinoids. So we literally, when we have injury to our body, our endocannabinoid system kicks in, and we produce our own cannabinoids, including THC. People don't understand that. So when you have the concept that it's something that's bad for us, you have to realize that if we have an endocannabinoid system that accepts cannabinoids, and we have a plant that makes cannabinoids, would that not seem more likely that that's something made to help our bodies?
Yeah.
So a lot of people get really tripped up over that. I had a neighbor that used to work for us part-time. She's so funny. And she was like, I never got it until you told me about that.
Correct.
She says that. And I was like, then the light bulb went off. I was like, oh my gosh, that's why that helps us.
Yeah.
So that's why that flower, that weed is such a, great product. But it is literally made for our bodies. So it's very interesting.
It's natural.
Naturally made for our bodies.
And it again, we're on the last minute here. Cody gives me a little 5-minute warning, but
Nice.
I want to end. I wanted to end with that's a perfect end. It's like if you have questions, anybody that's watching this, like reach out to Melissa and Dale. Just talk to them. If you just talk to them and go inside their store, you're going to learn more about weed. And like, if you knew half the things that Melissa forgot about weed, you'd be like knowledgeable on weed. You'd probably open up your own store, you know? And so just both of you guys, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you guys are extremely busy. Thank you for everything that you do in the community. Thank you for breaking that stigma, breaking it for myself. You know, I was worried about walking in, but you guys have the coolest store in Wilmington, and like I would rather drive 30 minutes to go see you guys, mainly because you're awesome, but two, because you guys do the highest quality stuff. And like more and more in my life, I care more about quality. And so just shout out to you guys.
Thank you.
Please.
Thanks, Heather and Cody too.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Cody had the worst job over there. He was working the whole time.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.